Alright, hopefully we are back because Facebook just completely crashed, which is why it crashed everything. You let me know if you can hear me again. It should all pop up pretty quickly. I've just gone out and just trashed everything. Um, but we are back. I'm so sorry about that brief interlude. Um, but hopefully people have hung around. We're back. And we'll wait for everybody to join again. I'm so sorry about that. Facebook crashed and it did not like it at all. So interesting. Back to the drawing board. Yes. Anyway, back as you all join. Thank you for your patience again. I'm so sorry about that. Facebook just crashed and cut me off apparently. Thank you for those people who are giving me a bit of a call via Facebook. It was much appreciated. But we fixed it and away we go. And if someone can just, I'll just probably put it on Facebook. Just give me a second, I'll put a message. Yeah. Give me a sec. Alright, let's put, I should put a sad face. Alright, I'll just post that now, people can see it. Anyway, we're back, let's get on with it. Hopefully people palm back, that's all good. I so apologise for those people who do mucked around a bit, it was so annoying. Anyway, Facebook just, I am at my wit's end with them. I actually, for those people actually, why we're just getting people to join, I actually did ring them today, or I actually messaged them and actually then had one of them call me about the stuff that was in the media from the ABC about them throttling or actually hiding any posts to do with TC Alfred, and I actually told them my displeasure in no uncertain terms, politely of course, and that was because I said I'm a weather page. Like, how can you have a weather page if you're going to just arbitrarily decide, oh, I don't like that, and start throttling or hiding posts and blocking them? I said, what? Who are you a qualified meteorologist? How do you know what's misinformation? Like, who's telling you it's misinformation? And they could not answer any of my questions, of course. Oh, no, you lodge a case, it'll be fixed in 24 hours. So they're like, I don't want 24 hours. You either fix it or you have to send me some compensation. So because it's an incredibly busy time of year for anybody who's a weather page, and you are basically cutting our business off. So you need to fix it ASAP, please. And I'm so sorry. We'll look into it. Yeah, I don't think they looked into it. And this is probably their payback tonight by what they've done is throttling my live capability. But anyway, we'll get on with this. Alright, so we've got EC. Thank you for those people who've managed to come back. I do appreciate it. I'm so sorry that was cut off. META, Oil and Treader, whatever I am. I'm trying to think of something wrong. Let's go with it. Okay, so EC, we got it. Let's go. We zoomed in a bit too much there. Alright, let's go. So EC, this is wind gust, by the way. No, it's not. It's actually just winds. Let's get on to the big winds. EC is well under for the pressure, so we're going to put a big red flag next to EC of what's going on there. Into Friday, it's going to have I'm assuming it's going to have the same wobble that Axis has had. Yep, here we go. It's going to be hitting the coast. Is actually going to bump it north. It's still maintaining its structure, although you can see here Friday evening it's going right close to, I think that's Morton Island again, very close to Brisbane airports, and it's still going, and it actually just goes north. And still maintaining its structure. The winds obviously aren't as strong, but it's still 50 knots, so you're still looking at Cat 2 cyclone at least, and that's pretty, and just buffeting the whole Gold Coast and northeast New South Wales all of Friday, and then coming ashore down Moreton Bay, much like we said before at the start, on Saturday morning sometime, and again having that really intense period of gales, in fact pretty stronger winds as it goes across land for much of the exposed coast, including right down to pretty almost Yamba, looking at that all of Saturday. And that is not going to help with storm surge, it's not going to help with rainfall, because this is where the air's all being squeezed on the southern side. And so, you think the eye goes over land, things will be okay. Not quite. And then you can see Saturday night, it starts to unwind. You can see how it gets this sort of elongated phase. And that is basically the low level circulation starting to lose its structure, especially on the surface anyway. And this component here is actually that mid-level vorticity that was talking before, that that is what's driving this actually wind. It's not at the surface part now, it's that mid-level part still sucking stuff in. And then you can see, we'll start to see those poor long-suffering people in basically Brisbane down to mid-north coast, northeast, northern rivers. We'll start to get some reprieve on Sunday morning as it really starts to back out and calm down, and the gusts ease as he disappears into interior. Alright, let's go and have a look now at what Icon was showing. We didn't get to see all of that. Again, Icon is again dramatically different to everywhere else. We can see here 80 knots already, and central pressure is still a bit higher than what the Bureau have it and GWC. I'll move that flag away from you, and this is where it gets a bit interesting, because again, Icon is about leading the pack. And it's not because it's a better model, it's not the case. I mean, it is a good model. It's just because it is a shorter model, so it only goes for 5 days, which means there's less influence of an outlier, for example, and an error being repeated across and exacerbated throughout a forecast. And because it's continually updating a lot quicker, you don't get that sort of repeated across, and it quickly can correct errors. Whereas the longer models like EC, GFS, and Access go out to 7 to 14 days. Errors get exacerbated quite through the whole outlook period, especially after 72 hours or 96 hours. It just magnifies after that. Into Friday, we can see here there's no at all indication or inclination by Alfred to come ashore. He's still wobbling around. And you can see that impact of poor old Windy getting smashed by everybody. And we can see again this activity on the southwestern side, southeastern side now, but you can see it has this now, see how the winds are completely around the center? That's now an symmetrical system. That's now a proper tropical cyclone, which is where I guess, and this is where it gets interesting, because that is where the Bureau did hint about the fact that it could possibly come ashore as that. It did talk about symmetry yesterday, not so much today, and look at these exposed ranges along here, like this whole range across here, which is that, where Mount Warning is, that sort of stuff is like a giant scoop. I mean, quite well away from that, and the poor old forest are getting 60 knots, hammering them day in, day out for a while. And so it's got that very symmetrical shape. You can see that beautiful round sort of circular tropical cyclone shape. You can see quite a nice tight little core as well. And again, this is where it gets deviates between Access and EC and to Icon, because Icon really bags it 80 knots heading up towards, this is definitely into the category 3 capacity here. And again, you can see 85 knots is getting into pretty strong winds, nasty sort of territory, and staying in that 80 knot range all the way through Friday night, and staying there. And that's not going to help. It won't be so bad. Maybe the winds on the coast, you can see that they're actually quite significant. It's a storm surge, and just that continual pummeling on the coast. Well, the good thing about Icon, I guess, here is that there is more of a sort of southerly component here, which should take a little bit of the way. It won't driving his water up over the into the dunes as much, because it's sort of bringing it back out towards the low. If there's any sort of saving grace, but those strong winds still staying there well into Friday and to Saturday. We're getting into Saturday morning now, and this is where it starts to make its again intensified. And this is again, look, 90 knots plus, like 92 plus, and that's mid category 3. And then heading towards the coast at category 3 Saturday, and coming ashore as a category 3 probably on Saturday at lunchtime. This is where Icon is this is where, I don't know, 76 knots, that's pretty nasty. And 70 knots basically from Fingal Head or the south of Tweed Heads right up through into Moreton Island. That is not a scenario that anybody wants to see. And that is a real concern. Icon's been pretty much on the money so far. I mean, here we go. This is what I saw. Anybody in the Gold Coast, that's 80 knots, and that's 160 k's now. That is not good. That's danger. That's damage. That's a lot of to older places being shredded, and that is going to be pretty massive storm surge as well. And that's what I flagged with Icon before with you guys about it. So far, Icon's leading the pack. Like, it put out that track change scenario, say, and then EC and Axis sort of followed it. So, and then you can see the impact of land is starting to wobble it. You can see how that goes from a symmetrical, beautiful round eye now into that egg sort of eye, and then it plows ashore again across Morton Island, which is basically where everybody's sort of got it going. So the track is pretty much going to be around Brisbane Airport, I think, just north of it, just south of it, but pretty much Brisbane Airport. But I mean, this is the other thing, like still pummeling the Gold Coast, the Strand, all that sort of stuff, right down to northeastern New South Wales or Northern Rivers. 70 to 80 knots. I mean, that's just extraordinary, and it's been like that for hours. That's high category 2, category 3, low category 3, and finally it plows inland Saturday night, and again that's a different scenario, whole different scenario to what other models are going. And then the good thing with Icon is that it does actually wind down a lot quicker than the other two. You can see those areas of gales and that sort of stuff are starting to ease very quickly into Sunday morning, and Icon away it goes into the land, and forever shall not come back to the poor old Gold Coast. Alright, we'll quickly look at GFS and then we'll have a look at what's in store for us quickly. Now, so I'm not going to look at rain models, because you can imagine rain's just going to be ginormous with any of those scenarios, so expect between 400 to 1,000 millimetres anywhere, basically from mid-north or northern rivers right through to southern Sunshine Coast, especially now that it's actually taken a little bit more of a northward kink towards the end there. The southern end here between Maroochydore and Caboolture definitely will see a lot more effects than they would in the early stages of the monitoring we're doing. Alright, let's go GFS, get far away soon. It's sort of been pretty sloppy all over the place, but because it's so smooth, it's got a 22 kilometre resolution, and it makes it very hard to pick up these sort of nuances. As you can see, it wants to bring it across right into the Q1 building in the Gold Coast, and there's people in that apartment up there, or that penthouse will be most welcome to just look up and see the stars as GFS brings it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But it does actually confirm Icon to a lot of extent about that sort of northward movement and that extended period of strong winds on the coast, and to a lesser extent EC and Axis as well. And then that all sort of ends up in sort of a big sloppy mess inland, or not, from Brisbane to the northwest or north, and then does plough it inland a bit with some gales, especially on the southern side, and that's the interesting thing because that's pushing against that ridge. And that is it. Alright, let's have a look now at what's in store for us. We'll zoom out a bit. We'll go down to first of all, I'll see if the hurricane track maps have finally updated. It's been a bit disappointing about how slow they've been. 9 hours ago, 9 hours ago, 9 hours ago. That's going to be no good. Okay. Well, I can just show you, especially on the earlier models, we can see this kink to the south, the dive. UK Met's got it. Axis has definitely got it. And then, of course, EC's got it as well. So that was the last, model run, and we'll get to see now what they're thinking in terms of the next few days, and it'll be interesting to see that. I'll leave it on winds because that will probably give me a better idea of what the system's going to do. Okay, so this is a we know about GFS. Goodbye, GFS. Okay, so this is EC, so we know it goes ashore, and now we want to watch for that little circle part. But we're looking for these winds as well, so because it's going to be very important. So Sunday's still in Queensland, Monday in northern New South Wales over the northwest slopes and plains, and still quite a tight circulation, as you can see, which means that stacked mid-level vorticity, which is still there, which is very important to see what happens for us. We can already see the timing's already pushed back, and that's because of that extra day and a half it's taken. And this is interesting here, this surge into the system. That is what we definitely will have to watch. Again, potential for an east coast low here. You can see how that it's almost like a black nor'easter, but it's not. You can see that trough is that bulge in the isobars there. Let's go in a bit closer for you guys. So you can see how the isobars are bulging down. That is a trough. The circulation center is still here, and the trough is the surface. And of course, you've got that stacked, pretty mid-level vorticity, which is sort of helping drive, and that's sucking that air in. That's interesting. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because I think we want to make sure. And that is in Monday afternoon. And okay, there we go. So interesting, right on the coast between, and there we go. It's potentially a ECL. Okay, all right. So right between Central Coast, or between Newcastle and Sydney, ECL wants to bring him off, and we will see. Let's go. It's definitely trying to develop something. There you go. Starting to spin up. Very tight sort of pressure gradients there. You can see the trough pushing right down, which is obviously a key ingredient in all this. Whether it's a true ECL or not, I haven't seen the upper temp, so I can't comment, but here we go. Definitely starting to really wrap up now into areas and just sitting there. I guess we'll see, and that's it. It does sort of, it gets winding up, and then at the last minute it sort of gets captured and gets shunted north by, I think the next system comes, is actually, you can see here, this system here coming through, that sort of bulge coming through, is the next ridge and change and sort of coming up and sort of pushed it back up to the north. Now, we'll see if that happens or not, because that's still, a lot going to happen between now and then. And let's go, what happens, a bit future there, nothing much in, and done all over and done, dusted, washed away. So interesting here. Okay, so let's go back and we'll check Saturday on through Access as well. And let's go Accesso. Okay, so we will just stay where we are. We don't really worry too much. Well, actually, because I guess we're going to see that where it does go. So there he is up there. And let's skip through to Sunday now. You can see now approaching to the border. Still quite aggressive, and then we go dips into as well. You can see the timing, because of all that sort of delay, the timing pushes back, and that always concerns me when models push back timing, because I don't trust models that are always pushing timing back. Still quite a strong circulation there, and starting to extend that trough down towards the coast. You can see the bends in the isobars here at the surface, which is important. And what happens after this? Just not much here yet. Trough still pushing down, but again, it's not getting towards the coast, just like EC had. Still a trough here, you can see that surfacing, but it's staying pretty much put on. That's because this next ridge and system coming through from the south that's sort of bumping it up and keeping it up there. And so what's going to happen is it's going to shred off the surface level, which is the trough here we saw, trying to sort of drag it across the coast, and it's going to keep that sort of mid-level part over northern New South Wales, northwestern New South Wales, and sort of basically rip pieces off, and that's not going to be very good for any sort of rainfall potential for us here. Still there though, it's trying to reconnect here. You can see the isobars now bulging back towards the coast again. So there's a bit of a mid-level trough, something or a ridge coming through from the south that's going to maybe buff it around. You can see again, it tries to and pushes it back, tries to and pushes it back. I don't like to see that, because that's the never. It's a bit like putting the rain on a credit card. Forget that. And of course, then away it goes and gets washed out by that next system pushing through, and bumped away, and away it goes. Access is not looking that flash for us, I must say. I'll look at the rainfall for all of them in a minute. We'll see what happens. We'll look at EC, we'll look at Access, we'll look at GFS in a minute for a laugh. We'll check Icon. I don't think Icon's going to show us much more, because as it's only a 5-day model, and it obviously we're struggling to get it ashore, but let's see what it does do. If it does, may prove me wrong. So Icon is really very much sort of linking up with EC at this stage, so Access is out by itself. Let's see what Icon does. We can see here that kink in the isobars again at the surface, whereas the mid-level stuff is still over land. Does it get off the coast? Yes, it does, and an ECL it is trying to form. So I guess will be watch up. This is a little bit further north, and there we go. ECL looks pretty much more like maybe in a Tasman. It's a bit far off the coast. We'll just see. I'm not going to give it an ECL or a Tasman low. And then it winds up, and you can see it is ramming the coast. That's probably more an ECL. You can see, because see how far the strongest winds are quite displaced from the circulation. That's a classic cold core sign. So it's transitioning into definitely cold core system. But what it does after that, well, disappears in a couple of hours. No way about that. Okay, so what it's saying is that little bump of southerlies coming up, and you can see here from the south is going to just rip it apart and wash it out. Now, I guess we'll see. And you can see this is the southerly change coming through here. You can see this whole band of winds moving up. So that's that next sort of, it's the the trough of the southerly, but then you've got the ridge behind it. It's just going to absolutely shred whatever's left over. And that's probably because it doesn't have a lot of upper support, which is what true ECLs need. They need that beautiful streaky jet upstairs. They need that really cold pull to keep the surface going. It's quite a strong change. Look at that. It's moving right up through the Tasman. Quite a delineation between that and what's going up. Pushing way up into the Gold Coast now. And you can see this next sort of stuff pushing down. Interesting there. Alright, we'll look at GFS now. Quickly pull up the rainfall stuff and then take your questions and get the hell out of here. So it's going a bit longer tonight, but we're getting a bit more certainty now about what's coming next, so that's why it's taking a bit longer. I wanted to look at that with you guys in a bit more depth. And of course, Facebook trying to screw me over. Okay, so GFS, this is, again, the surface is trying to extend a trough down through us, across Newcastle and Sydney, into the Illawarra as well. You can see this vorticity here, but that's definitely indication that mid-level stack vorticity is still going, still coming here. You can see that trough now pushing off the coast, and that sort of bump in that bend in the winds there. So, Access is supporting Icon and EC. So, GFS is supporting Icon and EC. Access is out by itself now, and you can see that sort of hook. That sort of almost that black northeaster hook that we talked about, a few months ago. That where winds come around and they basically slow down and then come ashore. It's good for rainfall here and through the Sydney and also into the Illawarra. Maybe it's not much in the Hunter. Again, that hook, you can see how the winds are flying down, they slow right down and then they sort of push over land. Again, it's a bit of sort of trophy sort of situation. And here we go, a bit of a vorticity off the coast, but developing low, whether it's going to be Tasman or ECL, obviously you won't know. GFS is just way too smoothed out to know exactly. It does have it hang around, sort of all along. This sort of Illawarra gets better out of that. You can see there's basically nothing happening over the Hunter and over the Metro at this stage, and then it does wash out, as we can see through there, and it doesn't have that cold front that Icon has. You can see this is where it gets so frustrating, because there's just completely different resolutions there, completely what's going on. Okay, all right, let's have a quick look at rainfall now, accumulated rainfall for us particularly. And we'll go into GFS first because it's we all need a laugh. So let's go with the whole period. So again, there's still some good falls. 160 sort of falls around that Illawarra escarpment, of course, because that's where it's sort of focused. And good falls right up and down the core, including into the Hunter, getting up into 100 mils in the upper Hunter, 80, 90 mils. So maybe putting 100 mils into the coast there, and across the basin. We'll zoom in a bit more now and get us just and you can see 100 mils, 140 mils and 150 mils, 170 mils close. Still pretty good falls for GFS. Thank you, GFS. That's very sweet of you. Right, let's look at, we'll go to Icon and see it because it has that scenario. I'm not surprised Icon hasn't got much, because don't forget, it really didn't have it, just not sure at all what's going on here. It literally brought across a system for us, so I'm not sure what it's playing at. Yes, it changes if I drag it that way. I think there's a bit of a glitch going on with Icon. Actually, I'm wondering if this might be 06 set, because it does update a lot quicker. And 06 set, if anybody's watching, they are trash models to look at for anything, especially rainfall wise. Don't ever rely upon what that says, because you'll get caught out. I'm just waiting for it to catch up. Alright, let's just check what it is. It's pretty nice. Yeah, there you go. I was right. Just updated 20 minutes ago. I was like, this looks like a 06Z model to me. Like this, just trash, and it is just trash. Okay, I can't get. This is an annoying thing about Windy. I can't go back and see what 0Z said. I'll try and get that off screen. Anyway, that's annoying, very frustrating. And we'll go quickly look at EC now. I think we look at EC, not yet. So let's have a look at it, pull it out. Some good falls still there. 100 mils around Metro up to that. Some good stuff on the Sunny Coast, up to 150 probably there. In the Hunter, definitely still up into the 110, 120s up in the upper. The Barringtons will do quite well. So EC is definitely looking, picking something up there. It's not as good as what we saw yesterday, but it's going to swing. It's going to swing back and forward. So don't get too malaise about this and get we're going to get no rain. It's not over yet, and don't even use that word fizzer. After what Facebook's done to me today, I'll be crying. And here's Access. So interestingly, Access has the worst scenario for us in terms of vorticity, but it has the best scenario for us in terms of rain. including 250 mils in the west, 140, 150, 200 mils on the central coast, 300 mils across the Blue Mountains. Yeah, okay, that is just bizarro. And that's probably because of that trough, I think, in that deep flow. Look at that. So, you know, if we're going to hope for anything, we're going to hope for access. I guess we want some rain. That's just bizarre. It really is bizarre. Synoptic-wise, it looked the most lame duck-wise, but then you look at rainfall-wise, and it's definitely giving everybody a bit of a pumping. So, you know, up to 220 mils in the Upper Hunter. Probably must have got getting a bit of the rain shadow from the Barringtons. That's why it's sort of not as much as anywhere else. That's big hole there is the Barringtons, so you can guess this flow is coming from this way. But you can see the smear of precipitation is basically the Alfred influence comes right through down and then jets up into the end of it, sort of pushes off into the Tasman. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, righty. Again, apologies for that Facebook screw over before, but anyway, it is what it is. Right, let's go to your questions. I'm going to pull up the satellite and radar now for the Goldie. We'll look at that. Go up there and let that play in the background while I answer some of your questions, and we can have a look at the satellite as well, just see what's going on. I guess the thing to look out for everybody now is actually lightning. So lightning is the biggest indication that if Alfred is intensifying. So there's some lightning right there. I'm literally just talking about it and then it pops up. That is definitely an indication that he is intensifying. So keep an eye for lightning. Anytime you see lightning near the low level circulation center, that's a good sign that he's winding up. And you can see what is going to cause massive problems. And I'll zoom in a bit. Is these bandings of Alfred, but you can see they're basically just staying stationary. It's because they're pushing against the actual environment. So that's why that's going nowhere. And there's going to be some massive sort of localized flooding under that already. So if you're under those, you know, good luck. You know, please make sure you've got all that sort of stuff we've been rabbiting on about for the last few days. Your plans, where you're going to go, everything's sort of in place, etc. Because there is going to be some massive falls just under that, for sure. I'm going to infrared because obviously visible now is terrible, and you can see again. You can see that's the vortex, the low level circulation center there. And you can see the stuff displaced to the south, but you can see it's starting to push north again. You can see this wrapping around a bit of moisture into it as well. So we'll see what it looks like in the morning. But he's definitely still well away from the coast, not even getting close. This is the stuff that's going to cause danger when it comes ashore sometime tomorrow, because you can see it's just a blob of heavy rain. And if he goes a bit further north, then all this tail comes across as well. So you get that extra effect. Alright, question time to know. I lost a heap of questions in the last chat. I'm so sorry about that. I'll go best what I can do to remember them. I'm going to try and make these up a bit bigger so I can see you all. Okay, let's go. So, starting from the top, we've got surely it's his life expectancy from Ashley. G'day Ashley, Brisbane Airport stopped all flights a few hours ago. Yep, I think so. And I did read online somewhere, Mark 2, that they're actually suspending all traffic across all their bridges very soon. So basically the city will be on shutdown anyway. What do you expect around the wind around Brisbane Airport, Danielle? I expect it to be pretty 40 to 50 knots and then deteriorating basically from gusts, that is, deteriorating basically from lunchtime, I think tomorrow, and right through to pretty Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning, given whatever models they are. But yeah, nasty sort of stuff there, which is why I imagine they're trying to get all their planes out or get them down. Airport is closed, closed at 4 p.m, that's pretty, locked all the planes down there. Do the models have ratings of how accurate they are? That's actually a very good question, Amanda, and thank you so much for being a follower and also sending stars as well. It's much appreciated. Your generosity is so greatly appreciated. They don't actually, and there's probably a good system that needs to be brought in about that. A rating system for models. It's a good question. No, they don't, and they don't take feedback too kindly either. I must tell you. Everyone wants to rank it as much as you can. True. Peter Brayley. Atmosphere on cyclonic low has been dancing ever since. Someone's messaging me, so sorry, that distracted me. Yeah, let's go. He's basically a teenager, actually it is too, can't make his mind up. Mr. Sharp, thank you so much for your heads up before, and thank you so much also for your stars. I can see that you get it. Thank you so much for that. Your generosity is completely genuine. And Mr. Smith as well, thank you so much for your stars. So appreciate it. I imagine the petrol stations and supermarkets are pretty clean, scrap clean. Um, well, election call away. That's interesting because exactly wasn't the election supposed to be federal election supposed to be called Sunday? Yeah, I imagine that's going to be drowned out by this. And I think if he doesn't call it this Sunday like that, he's then looking actually probably what May, and you'll probably have to go to a budget or something. So interesting. Um, Missed like everything again. No, don't give up yet. You guys give up so early. Like with these things, these systems have their mind of their own. So um, don't get an EC out of this. Well, I just want some rain. Rain's will be good. Rain will be lovely, love it. Very, very nice. Thank you, Alicia, for your kind words. I greatly appreciate that. About seeing colours, I appreciate. Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's actually my neurodivergence. I did actually, when I am seeing my specialists about, they say that one of the things is that you see patterns a lot easier, and that's how you sort of think is in patterns, which is why I do get a bit distracted sometimes. Don't quite atmospheric river. Alfred, that's sorted. Yep. Let's get that. Peter, that's correct. We want is that atmospheric river pouring down. We want some rain. I mean, I don't necessarily want floods. I just want some rain. It'd be nice to see some rain after what we've had to suffer for weeks and weeks with just cat piddle out there. Do rain dances, absolutely, please. And could be naked or clothed, Alicia. I do not care. Just don't get arrested. Let's go. Naked and pictures where it didn't happen. I think we'll probably pass on that one. I'll leave that up to you guys. What's the pressure at? It's about 980 last time I saw. There'll be an update any time now from the Queensland Bureau, so you can check that out. Naked around the maypole, yep. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Sharp. I got those posts. I will definitely look at them. What's after I get off here, get some food. Peter, Alfred doesn't care if you're naked or not. Hurricane hunters, on the other hand, huh? Yep. And Zoom the satellite, no doubt. Newcastle's been hammered. It was an NBN. Yep, it wouldn't surprise me. Some gusty winds on those outer bands inflowing into Alfred for sure. It's only going to get only going to get more in the next few days. You are more than welcome, Ashley and Alicia. Thank you so much for your kind donation of the day too. I haven't called you out yet because I've obviously been rather busy trying to do everything I do, but I do really appreciate that. It's so greatly appreciated. Cost of living is affecting everybody, including getting all these data and stuff like that. Not arrested once again, not keen for that. I love that. That's a story that we'd love to hear about something sometime. Maybe not tonight, but that's so cool. Alright, any other quick questions from everybody? It's been so good to have you all on. I do again apologise so much for what that stuff up before. I will continue on my hunt for a stable system that's not going to screw you all over, but it screws META over. You're listening, META? I hate you. Throttling my posts, because you think you're the arbiter of what is information and is misinformation. I said to the lady on the phone, by the way, I said, well, have you read the post on my page? She's like, oh no. And I said, well, how do you know it's misinformation? Oh, it's just a general. And I said, well, that's actually, really discriminatory. I said, because you're lumping a couple of fruitcakes who are driving a ship around that's apparently 1,000 kilometres long, dumping 1 trillion cubic metres of moisture, and with everybody else within with them. I said, what gives you the right to do that? Oh, well, META is our platform. I said, yeah, but, the users do own the information on there and stuff like that. People put their hard effort into it. You should be at least contacting them and asking them. Alicia, what is the anticipated rainfalls in Sydney Central Coast? We expect flooding. Not at this stage. I'm not going to give any indication about flooding because it's going up and down, up and down. Every run goes like lots of rainfall, and then next frame. At this stage, I would say it's looking between 100 150 mils from Sunday through to early next week, and then I guess we'll see exactly what happens with the systems, whether it gets off the coast or not. That's going to be the big key driver, and just what's left of him to cause that. Is the comment of Kirsten for an ECO to be caused by TC? No, and that's what I was mentioning at the very start about the that mid-level vorticity that they talked about, stretching from stacked all the way from 850, which is about 3 kilometers up, or whatever it is, 2 kilometers up in the atmosphere, right up into 6 or 7 kilometers up in the sky. That's unusual, and that's what's going to give him the capacity, if he makes it a land, to develop into an ECL. Because usually when cyclones drive ashore, their low-level circulation centre just falls apart pretty quickly, and you have like a rain depression and it's all over. But this mid-level stuff is what's going to sustain him, and then we'll see exactly what he does, and that next system coming through from the south where it pushes him around and up. How many mils for us? Just, I don't know, it'd be just like putting a dart in the bottom. I said 100 to 150, what's going on axis, but we'll see. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you to you as well for your don't fancy driving in NCL. No, don't blame you. You're welcome, Alicia. Don't think Aaron might take notice here. Alfred will do what he wants to do. That's Kirsten, it's not going to be a cyclone when it gets here. It'll be like a more of a low sort of a hybrid system. So the further south the cyclone's actually gone. I mean, although they say historically one went across Sydney, but of course, that's going to be obviously always subject to debate. But really, Coffs Harbour is the lowest I've seen one. I think was it Nancy? I think came that way, and she was nasty too. And that was, if I got it correct off the top of my head. And congratulations on your anniversary too, 1 year. Thank you, Kirsten, for being with us for 1 year. Greatly appreciated. What's questions? Okay, not quite good questions there. Got questions there. I'm liking them as I'm going, so I do miss yours. I do apologise. I am trying to keep. I'm using that like as my task list. Sue, thank you for your top fan. You too, Alicia and Glenn and Deborah and Ashley. Kelly, thank you so much for your stars and for your top fan badge. It's so great. Albert, I think so too. Asha, lovely. I was hoping to see you catch you on. I'm so sad Monica's not here. I hope she didn't pop in and so it was crashed and disappeared. I know she's had some bad migraines, a poor thing. So I hope she's listening to this later. We wish you all the best, Monica and Monty. Look after yourself. CJ, hello. I was hoping you'd pop in. I hope you've had a great day. Lovely to see you too. I didn't get to catch all the earlier conversations. I'm sorry if your stuff got shredded apart earlier because of the great crash of Facebook in 2025. Alrighty, I really do. What's the current central pressure of Alfred? It is 980 hectopascals at the what I looked at. I need to go off and eat and grab a drink of water. It has been awesome to be with you. Tomorrow night is, I think, potentially game night. We'll call it by ear. If it looks like he's coming ashore, then let's hang out and have a cyclone party together and give support to our lovely family and friends and comrades in the Gold Coast and Brisbane and Northern Rivers because they're pretty going to need it. It's going to be pretty hectic. And if it comes early Saturday morning, well, you're on your own, Gold Coast. I ain't getting up at 5 o'clock. I'm just joking, but we'll see, obviously. I remember many years ago when I joined a cyclone watch party, it went to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when it was hitting an area I was on. It was just so much. It was actually hilarious because they ended up talking about a whole range of stuff as you can imagine, and people got pretty more intoxicated as the night went on, and it was enjoyable. I'm not sure much cyclone stuff was talked about in the end, but it was good to see people just relaxing and just chilling a little bit and not worrying so much about what the things are howling past the window and just what is, we can't change it. So there's no getting too anxious. I've done everything I can to prepare myself. I've got clean water. I've got the bathtub full of water. I've got everything's inside. I've tied the wife or the better half down, so they're not going to blow away. The trampolines, inside, and away they go and just enjoy themselves. So, righty. Yeah. Okay. Good night, everybody. It's been so good to have your company and your patience is greatly appreciated. Place your bets on day and time. Actually, I should do that. I'll start a poll on the page so you can get a poll going. See. Anyway, I'm going to clock off now. It has been absolutely fantabulous to have your company yet again. And of course, I always enjoy hanging out with you people and the chats and the funny things that always gets happen. In the background. It's always just funny. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just so good. All right. I'm going to say goodnight and put up a beautiful new graphic that I did because I realised when I was picking up the other day I was saying the live stream started shortly and I'm like, but no, I'm finishing. listen to some inspirational music from the BBC Orchestra, Concerto Number 5. Anyway, have a great night. Thank you for your company again and your patience. And awesome, love you all. Thank you so much for your support of the page. It's so greatly appreciated. And catch you tomorrow for another exciting installment of what the hell is Alfred up to. Good night. Oh, there's Stormcat just coming to say good night too. I hope you heard him because he was very excited to hear you all say when to say good night. Okay, ciao.